to Twitchy. This is Twitchy. It's our podcast where we talk about queer things and Twitch things, and we have ADHD, so we get a little off topic sometimes. And today we have a wonderful guest. We have PolygonPrincess. Hello, hello. Polly, would you like to introduce yourself? Let us know your pronouns.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Well, bye everyone.
My name is...
And that was Twitchy. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Wait, hold on. Where's my... Oh, where are the stickers? I had sticker. I have the TwitchCon stickers, but I don't know where they are, so... Anyways, hello. My name is PolygonPrincess. My pronouns are she, they, and I am pure chaos.
The look at the camera. Ooh, that did something to me I am not prepared for.
I'm sure your chaos will do very well here. This is very chaotic.
Good. I thrive on chaos.
I hope you came in with very low expectations.
Yeah,
I came in... I want to make it clear, I came in with very high expectations, first of all. I sent that I specifically wanted green M&Ms. Didn't get any M&Ms.
They're in the mail, okay? We're still recovering from COVID times. They're in the mail.
Green M&Ms, a bloomin' onion, Korean barbecue, a case of Diet Coke.
Okay, well, I did prep some questions for us. One of my favorite to ask is, what is your name and how did you get it?
Okay, so my name is PolygonPrincess, right? Do you want my real name or is
no?
It just my
your Twitch name is.
I don't need your government name.
Comfortable with.
Because I'm not giving you my government. But I'm fine with giving you my government though because it actually is related to my Twitch name.
Yeah.
So my name is Zelda, and if you think about it, Polygon Princess. She's like a princess made of polygons and like a 3D polygons, right?
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Cool.
Right? So I was like, Polygon Princess. First of all, love a fucking alliteration.
Yes. Oh, I do too. Alliterations are the best.
So I saw that opportunity. I was like thinking about like, okay, what's an alliteration that I can use that also like applies to me that I'm not gonna get sick of? Instantly stuck.
I love that so much. That is so cool. I love that. And on Twitch, do you prefer to go by Polly, or is there like another nickname that you go by, or do you prefer people call you Polygon Princess?
Trash works. Garbo. No, I'm kidding. Anything besides Polly Pocket.
Oh my gosh!
So many people call me. You don't understand, and they don't even spell Polly right.
Oh no!
I used to shove Polly Pocket in my mouth. Like, I don't know why I thought that was candy, but like, just thinking now, I can like taste the rubber dresses and the shoes that used to come with Polly Pockets. Is that just me? Okay, everyone looks like I'm crazy, so maybe it was just me putting Polly Pocket in my mouth.
Okay. That is a little out there, if I'm being honest.
But
I said so.
But did you put Polly Pocket in your mouth too?
No, there is something about like bacon that makes me want to eat chapstick. I don't know. I don't understand it. But I have a little tin of like chapstick on my desk, and like I get. I'm admitting this, and I'm regretting every second of it. But I don't.
Hi,
know.
welcome to Twitchy. And if you thought this was an interview, it's actually an intervention. Because we're about to sit down with Queenie and discuss the psychological issues.
It's just like wax-based product. Polly Pockets are just straight up plastic.
I was also like 9, but I think I'd do it again.
Okay.
I think if it was in front of me, I'd do it again.
I feel like I have to share like embarrassing things too. Do I have to? I'm not doing that.
Yes, no, you have to. No, you have to.
Polly's like, y'all are fucking nuts. No, the worst part was I told Dan, like, in a moment of,
clarity,
self-reflection, and vulnerability, and I was like, because the gist of it was that, like, And it's not like I'm winding up the whole tube and taking a bite out of it. I don't want to go into the method of how I eat chapstick sometimes, but like it's just like the little end part. I don't know. And so I'm out of chapstick, and I love my lips get so
Well,
dry, and
we
it's
know
so dry
why.
outside. And so I asked Dan if we could get more chapstick, and he was like, "What happened to the 8 things that you had of it?" And I was like, "Well,
I'm so curious. You said like you don't want to get into the method of how you sometimes eat it. Are there various methods?
listen, I'm the one that wrote the questions here." I'm just kidding. Ah,
Wow. Who's the editor?
well,
What's the name of the editor?
Marv.
Marv, edit this out.
I'm keeping it all in.
Yes. Well, it's a. I don't know. You just like put a little bit on your lips, and sometimes you know. I don't know.
Keep going.
Anyway,
No, continue.
no, it's fine. It's
We'll
fine.
continue. No, it's not fine.
Well, I don't. So like, no.
It's fine.
Mark ate Polly Pocket.
Don't you reverse this back on me.
anything. I was not intending to be in the hot seat today. We'll, I guess we'll keep on moving on. One of our next questions. What was your coming out story? If you're comfortable with sharing that.
Mine was when I had about a half a Polly Pocket down my throat. So.
Yeah, ow! When did you come out as the pica kid? the kid that ate, glue and Polly Pockets and chopstick.
I want to know who booked me on this gig.
Well, I reached out to somebody on
You
Twitter.
did.
I'm just kidding. It was me. My people Marv and I always say, we'll have my people get in contact with your people, and it's just us on Instagram or on Discord.
And then our people suck about responding and remembering. We need to fire our assistants.
Like, I'll forget things that we've already talked about, and so I'll be like, oh, I absolutely have to message Marv about this, like, today. And then I'll message Marv, and I'll be like, hey, here's this thing. And Marv will be like, yeah, Bessie, we talked about it already. And I'm like, well, but legitimately, what is your coming out story if you're comfortable with sharing that?
Okay. So my coming out story, I was like out at a bar with a couple of my coworkers and we were out drinking. I came out when I was very drunk, basically. Right. I was just like, because I like experienced a lot of like gender dysphoria up until that point. And as the years continued on, like it just got worse and worse, right? And I was just like constantly thinking about it. It was like constantly in my mind. And I was just like, fuck, I have to like do something about this. So I just like blurted it out because I felt comfortable enough with them. And it was messy. I cried, all that kind of shit. And then I came out like a week later on Facebook. I might be a boomer. Might is the operative word here.
Well, if you're a boomer, you're on the very, very young end of it.
I was about to say, are you a 90s baby like me and Queenie? You don't have to dox yourself with your age, but you definitely look
a 90s baby.
Really?
Botox got me looking 25.
Oh my god, maybe that's what I need.
Because I just want a little bit around my eyes, I think.
I need the forehead because I be judging people. And I get wrinkly.
I have like a little one right here, but it doesn't move. Expressionless. People think I'm stoic, but I just have a lot of Botox. Just kidding.
Yeah, people think I have resting bitch face. I have like 40 units of Botox shoved in my face and lip filler. I can't express anything.
See, I don't think I have resting bitch face. I have active bitch face.
That part.
So I do feel like because I feel like people say shit crazy at the gigs, and I'm just like, girl. And I can feel my eyebrows like lifting all the skin on my face up.
You sound like me. I can't like hide like how I feel.
I'm very expressionate.
If I don't like somebody, I'm like,
It does help that I glue down my brows and redraw them up here, but like it's still like
Yeah.
people can see
for
it in my
sure.
eyes when they say something crazy.
Yeah.
Like that they eat chapstick.
So, our next question. I'm never doing this again. I'm just kidding. How did you find Twitch?
How did I find Twitch? I remember like Twitch back in like the Justin.tv days. Like,
oh wow, that's before my time.
I've been terminally online for over a decade, and I remember like the precursor to Twitch. I wasn't really like on there, but I remember it being around, and then I remember when Twitch came out. And I didn't really get active into Twitch until like 2014. So I started watching like speedruns on YouTube. And then I would go to the speedrunners like Twitch channel and watch them there. So I guess that's a combination of like the olden days, as well as the speedrunning community. Now, did I speedrun anything? Hell to the no. I'm not speedrunning shit. I'm walking at a very slow pace. Pace.
I do remember those days where like you would really discover people from YouTube and then be like, oh, I like this person if they ever go live. Like I guess I'll download Twitch.
That's how I found Twitch too. I was like an avid Jenna Marbles fan, and then like Julian from there, and Julian on their podcast once was talking about TwitchCon, and I was like, maybe like that sounds really fun, like a bunch of like-minded people hanging out together, you know. And so I downloaded Twitch just to watch Julian. But now it's like it's expanded into so much more for me, you know, like my closest friends are people I found on Twitch, you know.
When did you start
and
streaming?
My closest enemies.
Did you start streaming that long ago too?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So I started streaming like I started dipping my toes in 2018, but I wasn't really like active or anything. And then I started seriously like streaming in 2019. So I've been streaming for about 4 years now.
Wow.
What would you say the changes between like then and now? Because there was a whole pandemic in between there.
Well, I started streaming like a year into hormone replacement therapy. And like obviously there's been a lot of like physical changes for me. Like I had facial feminization surgery in 2021. And also like as you go into like HRT, like your body just like sort of matures into that. Otherwise, like I mean, I've moved a lot of places. My production value has went a lot up. I don't use a webcam anymore. I use a DSLR.
Ooh, fancy.
Ooh.
Sony A5100. Thank you for the well, I'm not sponsored by Sony. I would love to be sponsored by Sony, but
rich.
Yeah, I feel like over the last like 2 years, I really like networked with a lot of people and made a lot of like really like cool connections that I wasn't really making before then. I was just sort of like I still sort of treat it like a hobby, but I definitely have started to treat it as more of like a career. Going to TwitchCon in particular really changed my perspective and seeing like the way like that people interacted there and how like a lot of people, this is their career, you know what I mean? So a lot of people were very professional about it, and I was like, oh shit, like
take
I'm
it
just
very seriously. Yeah,
I'm sitting here getting drunk and y'all are like handing out business cards.
Okay, but TwitchCon was a blast though. It was so
That's
fun.
where we met.
It is where we met. Yeah, Polly showed up into my hotel room, which sounds really risque, but like literally. So I bunked with London, who's one of my besties, and multiple times on that trip, London came into the hotel room with like 7 people, and I would just be like in pajamas on my like try to sleep, and London would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, get up, we're going to a house party. And I was like, okay. So like up, you know, up we went and out we go, you know, it was really fun though. But yeah, Polly showed up into my hotel room and I was like, hey, I
It
like
was
queer
so
women.
funny. It was so funny too because I literally did not like I didn't know London either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's
Just
really
going
Yeah,
with
I
the
was just
flow.
I was just going with the flow. I was just meeting people. I was like, fuck it. Let's see
yeah,
what
and
happens.
you're part of Team Overture, right? And they're up for a big award. That's really exciting.
Yes, we're nominated for the gaming awards. They're gonna kill me. I don't remember the specific name of the award.
I think it's Stream Team of the Year.
I think that is the name. Yeah, we're nominated.
That's so cool. That's so exciting.
I'm hoping to go to
Yeah.
TwitchCon this next year with Robbie for Stream for a Cause, but I
That'll
don't.
be fun.
It's all about where it
Aw.
is and when it is, you know.
I think.
Okay.
Well, there were new rumors yesterday, and
That it's
rumors
Vegas, right?
Vegas and like October 20th
Yeah.
is what I'm hearing.
So
But
I heard about the Vegas rumors the day after San Diego ended.
oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, people started immediately mentioning, oh, it's gonna be in Vegas next year.
Yeah. I heard San Diego, I heard Vegas, I heard Houston, I heard Seattle, I heard LA. I've heard so many things.
Flights are cheaper to
I
Vegas for me, so I wouldn't be mad about that.
But do you want to talk about a little bit of Overture? Like, how has your experience been? There are some hot opinions when it comes to stream teams. Some people are like, yay, stream teams. And some people are like, stream teams are the worst. So, like, I mean,
who are those people? I don't associate with them.
T.
How did
But
you
being a
like?
part
How
of
did
a
how did you
network-
stumble
That's Sam.
in?
So I like, how did I stumble in? I forget. I remember I was like hanging out with some of my Twitch friends and we saw that applications were open for Team Overture and I decided to apply. I'm one of those people, I'm very doomer. I'm not gonna get in. Like it's not gonna happen for me, but it'll be okay. I got in,
Yay.
obviously. And so I was like, oh shit. Like, I'll take it. What's up? Yeah, I just applied when the applications were open. And I got the invite. It's not really like a amazing story, I guess. It's not like I traveled through the winds and but and yeah, I had like known some of like the team leads on Overture prior, but we weren't like super close at the time. And I love being on Team Overture. Like I love being on my team. I have made so many incredible friends and connections because of it. And I've got to experience so much. And really just being a part of like a tight-knit community. It's always gonna feel good to have people around you, you know,
sure.
whether they're on a stream team or not. I don't necessarily think that they have to be like an official Twitch team for you to gain that experience to have that, but it definitely helps. So
Did you notice a big
I
difference in your streaming before and after joining a team?
yes and no. I feel like fundamentally, like my content has always been like at the crux me being chaotic and unhinged, and I definitely am still very chaotic and unhinged. But I've also taken part in some of the team opportunities, and that's been like helpful. I feel like I collaborate a lot more, and I'm a lot more willing to reach out to people to collaborate. So maybe that's one of like the differences that I would say.
I feel that too.
I've seen.
I'm not a part of Team Overture, but I'm part of my own stream team. Well, not my own stream team, but I'm on a stream team. And I feel like
Mhm.
before joining the team, I just kind of assumed that me asking to collaborate or wanting to play games with people was like an inconvenience for them. And then like especially after TwitchCon, I was like, I love our queer spaces. I just wish there was more representation of queer women. you know, it just feels like gaming in general, and like in so many spaces, like it's so male dominated, and I just wanted to see more queer women doing things. And it wasn't too long after that I had the idea for the podcast, and like I've been working on some other things too. And I was like, well, I had this idea for this podcast, but I was like, I don't want to do it myself. Like I don't have all of the tools. And so I was like, I really hesitated to like reach out to see if somebody would be interested in like collaborating with me on it. But like definitely being part of the stream team, I realized that like there are people, even if they don't like say anything to you, there are people who follow you on Twitter. There are people who follow you on Twitch, but they don't chat. Like they're lurkers, they're VOD watchers, they're people who watch your Instagram stories who just think like they don't get to see the whole story of what you do. They only see what the content you put out, and they're excited by that, and they're like, oh, look at Queenie, she's having so much fun at a drag brunch or whatever, you know. And they get excited by that. They get excited by the silly things you tweet, and they want to work with you. That like it, you know, like I stalked Marv's TikTok for months because I was like, oh, Marv is so pretty and she's so good at drag. And then she started messaging, or like, then she started following me and she commented on my things. And we just really hit it off. And like, that's when I came to her about the podcast idea. And she was excited. And I was like, you want to work with me? And she's regretted it ever since. Just kidding. But it's true. Like, I feel like a stream team gives you that little encouragement, that little nudge that you need to like reach out and network with people, you know?
And I do think more queer women need to branch out in content. Like I'm so glad to see like more queer women on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, like podcast stuff. We need to flood everything.
Yeah. I'm so excited to see like women do drag too and be represented and be taken seriously and not just treated as, well, you know, more seriously than they used to be, right? Or just like given platforms that were pretty much exclusive to like cis men.
I've told Queenie before, it is really surprising that like when I started doing drag on Twitch, and then I obviously met drag performers here in the city I'm in, did like commission hair, and that's how I met my drag mom. So when I started performing here, I was nervous because one woman, two in the south of in Alabama. But none of the queens here, like no one in the scene here has ever had an issue with me performing, has ever had anything to say about me performing. It's always the people who don't do drag and don't have any pictures on their profiles that want to come and say shit to me. But
yeah,
other than that, it's been welcomed with open arms by people who do drag, but still receive annoying Instagram and TikTok comments from, you know, cis white homo that's never done drag. So
it's always Daniel 753126412 on Twitter that's got some shit to say.
Yeah, and the account's it's always made yesterday.
But I kind of go in with the attitude every time I get a hate comment, I'm just like, oh, they want me to peg them so bad. That's how I look at it.
Fans.
It's like, oh my god,
they made an account just to comment on my page.
That's fan behavior.
Really,
yeah.
Really
I always just say fan behavior.
Yeah, and like I feel like it's the same with podcasts. Like there are so many men who say the most ridiculous things. Like I just saw a TikTok today.
Period. Incidents. That's it.
Okay,
that's the headline.
Honestly, yeah. And bye everyone. That was Twitchy, men, trigger warning, men. But like I just saw a thing today that was like, because of the food that we eat, women have periods every month, and really they should only be having periods every 4 years. But because of hormones in our food, they have one every month. And I'm like, you
can have that opinion where you can show me where the clitoris is.
Like, it's like not even an opinion. Like
oh, they're dead serious. Oh.
It just like it makes my brain hurt. I'm like, why do people
the internet has taught people that their opinion should be heard, and sometimes no, it shouldn't. You're
Yeah.
fucking dumb.
People
We
like
don't
that
listen to you.
need to swallow the Polly Pocket.
Yeah. They ate too many chapsticks as a kid.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
And that leads us
Just
to our
kidding.
next question. Why do men?
Yeah, literally. Truly.
Well, you see, in this thesis, I will.
In today's essay, I will. But you kind of mentioned some like when I worked in the hospital, I worked on like a post-surgery floor. So we called it on our floor gender reaffirming surgeries, like facial feminizations or mastectomies or augmentations, whatever that patient was coming in for. They kind of all fell under the umbrella of gender reaffirming surgeries. And I remember I had a patient that had like the facial feminization, and oh my gosh, they were just in so much pain, and they were such a trooper with it. But would you like to talk about that process and like what just like that whole experience?
You said you got it done recently,
Yeah.
like in the last 2 years?
2021, right?
2021, yeah, at the end of 2021, like it was like October 2021. Yeah, October 15th, 2021. I remember that date. I actually got consulted for it way back in like January of that year and did a GoFundMe and saved my own money to pay for it because it wasn't covered by my insurance. It was not cheap. Not fucking cheap at all. So it was very necessary. So to everyone that donated to that GoFundMe, thank you. Like you changed my life in ways that I don't even think you really can understand. But yeah, so I had surgery. The recovery process was brutal. The first 2 weeks are usually like the worst. So, and I think day 4 is when I looked, or day 3 or day 4 post surgery, I looked like my eye, like my face was so swollen that you literally like could barely see my eyes. Like it was brutal. It's a brutal surgery. And yeah, recovery was not fun. I couldn't feel a lot in my forehead for like a year.
Oh
So
my
like
gosh.
people could like hit me and I'd be like, I felt nothing.
With any kind of cosmetic surgery, it can really take like a full 12 months for the swelling to go down. But what's really stupid is how long it takes to get the consultation to the surgery. Like the wait time and like it's so stupid like how long you can be just sitting there waiting for
So
news.
yeah, it was literally the only reason that I waited so long was just because I saved money so I could pay for it. And like I have a pretty well-paying job and I had to move in with my dad to save money for it. There are so many people that do not have that luxury and do not have that ability. And I mean, in reality, I waited like 5 years to get this surgery. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't something that was just like available to me.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of resources. So that tells you like how like all these people that get on Twitter and they're like, oh, they're trying to like fucking make all these gender surgeries like available. I don't think you understand how fucking difficult it already
How
is to get
unavailable
these.
they are.
How unavailable they are. Like it's not like people can just walk and be like, hey, you know what? I want facial feminization surgery today. No, it doesn't work like this. Like, what the fuck?
And then
But
you also have all the like the doctors and the surgeons who like just won't do it at all.
Yeah,
Like
finding the right provider
absolutely.
too.
Yeah, and it's like it's a plastic surgeon, I think, that does it. So it's like that's already a niche within a niche. Like you have doctors, and then you have surgeons, and then you have plastic surgeons, and then out of those, there's only a small subsection that will even consider doing the surgery for you. Like, oh my gosh, it's such a tedious process.
And it can also be so dangerous at how unaccessible it can be, especially for like I see women here in the South all the time who have they couldn't afford it, find the provider to do it, like took too long. So like a lot of the women here in the South have like have had issues now with like things that they got in like, what they call the
They'll go
back
to another
alley.
country. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's catching
Yes.
up to them now, all the issues that they have because of how inaccessible it was, just a couple of years ago.
Some of the
Yeah.
women here have talked about we call it injecting SIL, getting SIL, which means getting silicone injections, right? And like you said, because it's such a like inaccessible thing, a lot of people resort to going to like unsafe environments to get these things done and then have a plethora of complications as a result. So it's really it's the same reason that like making abortion inaccessible is just a dangerous road to go on, because you're just leading people to pursue less safe options.
Right.
They're still gonna do it. Like, you're not gonna stop it. Whoever's watching who thinks that you can stop this shit, it ain't gonna happen. You gotta be real. Like, people are gonna do this. So you're either going to at least set a space for them to do it safely, or accept that you're contributing to harm.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And the thing that's frustrating is like you limit when people do that, when they put those restrictions on, they're only limiting it to those who don't have the resources, right? It's making it more dangerous for people who don't have the resources to hire a private plastic surgeon or to get a surgery done in a private suite, or whatever, which are things that really exist for other people, like for people who have more resources, who have more access. Like in a hospital, they call them VIP clients. And I don't want this to get taken out of context. It really is just for like a patient safety perspective. But if you have a certain level of access, like if you're a celebrity or if people recognize your name, so like politicians and stuff like that, if you're booked in a hospital, your name will be unlisted. Where like most generally everybody else will have like, Susan Smith is in this room or whatever, and it'll show up on hospital records. But like if it's not safe for you to have that, like they'll make it private, and I think you might even be able to request for it to be privatized. But it's like people have that level of access. It's like a common practice, and so really you're just limiting it to other people who don't fall under that like VIP umbrella, which is so frustrating.
This can go into a whole topic of why healthcare should be completely accessible to everybody as a fundamental right. We have the resources to do so. It's literally just like profit that's preventing these things from happening.
We could spend a whole podcast just on that.
We could spend a whole podcast just on this.
It like grinds my gears so much because I worked in healthcare. But anyway,
I don't know if any of y'all have seen that Mr. Beast stuff about how he like paid for like 1,000 people to get eye surgery so that they could see, like, who were blind. And like it's so polarizing of like, yes, that was great that he did that, but why do we even have a healthcare system where we have access to cure people's blindness, but like if they can't afford it, they can't see? Like, it's just so bizarre, the world we live in. It's like our healthcare is so shit.
It is
literally
weird.
We have so much, like, so many things that can be cured or be prevented that are not cured or not prevented specifically because of money. Why? Why?
It's
I don't know.
frustrating. Okay. No, it's definitely frustrating. I actually work in clinical trials, so like I get to see I have all this niche knowledge about clinical trials and stuff. The one thing that does like it hurts my soul because it's like I know that people genuinely believe it. But I see videos pop up every so often on TikTok talking about how like cancer could be cured, but because of greed, it's not. And it hurts my soul because like my whole industry, basically my whole company and all of our jobs, we work in between pharmaceutical companies and hospital sites to make sure that everything is done legally and all the information that is needed is recorded and blah, blah, blah. We keep pharmaceutical companies from doing pharmaceutical, like big pharma things, and we make sure that hospital sites are completing things as they should. But I think people who believe that cancer could be cured and it's not because of money think of cancer as one thing, and it's like a cancer that's from your ovaries and a cancer that's in your skin are vastly different, and like they're not the same. They're called cancer, but like that's where the similarities end. You know, like it and it, but it hurts my soul because I'm like, there are cancers that are being cured and are a lot farther along than they used to be, you know, and prognosis is a lot higher and stuff. But anyway, that's the end of my soapbox. But I am curious to know, probably like there are some, like we talk about access to healthcare and stuff like that, and I think like it's something that I'm still learning about, so I don't have all of the knowledge there. But I think it is an interesting thing to talk about people who are still trans, but don't have the access to like gender reaffirming surgeries and stuff like that. Um, it like, is that something that you'd like to talk about? Like, is that, I don't know, a thing?
In like what context?
No, like yeah, um, I think like in my mind, if somebody is trans or like if somebody is a woman, they say they're a woman to me. And
Hmm.
like regardless of if they've had hormone therapy or gender reaffirming surgeries or anything like that, to me it's like
Yeah.
if you identify as a woman and like that's who you are, then like who am I to tell you anything, right? Um but I can imagine that that would be a really difficult like decision to make of like, you know, of wanting to be who you are as like identifying as a woman or being a woman, and then also like having like I feel like I can empathize with that like dysphoria of having the outside not match the inside, you know, but then not having that
Mhm.
access to get that those results that you want. I feel like that would
Yeah.
be really hard. But I think on the other hand of it, it's like it is like who you are is who you are, you know? So, do you
It's
know?
definitely like like you said, right? Like if someone tells me they're a woman, they're a woman to me. Like I I don't give a fuck if they medically transition, whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah, who am I to
Like
question that? Like,
Yeah,
who
exactly.
who who are you? And this goes for anybody. Who are you to tell somebody no? What the fuck? Like, what fucking authority do you have on the shit? You know what I mean? Like, I definitely think that like there are people who actively choose not to medically transition. That's okay. That's fine. There are people who want to medically transition but are medically unable to. You know, maybe they have some medical condition or something like that, right? That prevents them from actually like proceeding with a variety of like gender affirming surgery or hormones or whatever. They're still valid.
Yeah.
Like nothing's changed about them, right? And then you have people who, you know, want to medically transition, who are medically able to transition and do not have the access to. And, you know, for me, as someone, you know, I'd sort of talked about like waiting for such a long time for FFS, you know, like it really had like a mental and emotional effect on me, right? To know that this thing is like this thing is out there. It's not like this isn't out there, like it's not possible. You know, it's very possible that I'm medically able to do so. It's literally like money preventing people from having like self-realization, self-actualization, and it's fucked. Like, why
Absolutely.
is that a thing? Like, why? It's just
it drives me
I
crazy that
think
a
about
cis
like
woman can go get a boob job, but if a trans woman wants to, like, why does it have to be this whole like what? Like, if I got a nose job, no one would look twice. But like, if a trans woman goes and gets a
because
nose job, like, it's crazy. Like, who?
I see a
What does
lot
it
of
do?
arguments. I see a lot of arguments that make a lot of sense to me about like if you think about it, all plastic surgery is gender affirming.
That part.
Absolutely. It
Whether you're
absolutely
cis
is.
whether you're
Botox,
cisgender, whether
gender
you're
affirming.
transgender, all of it is gender affirming in some capacity, right? But the distinction is that because trans surgery is particularly gender affirming of a gender that is not specifically one's assigned sex of birth, that's the issue. People have no problem with cis women getting boob jobs because they're conforming. It's the confirmation that they really care about. They don't give shit about like, you know, like, oh, you're doing this to your body. They literally don't fucking care. Okay, if you fucking cared, you'd be living out in the fucking woods, drinking mineral water and growing like GMO plants out of your soil. You're not fucking doing that. Let's be fucking honest. You know, you're not doing that. So clearly, you don't give a fuck about like synthetic shit or surgery or anything like that, right?
I've used that argument before on men. I don't remember who. Like, I was at a bar or something, and like there was a man like arguing about gender affirming surgery, and I was like, did you get a hair plug surgery recently? And he was like, well, yeah. And I was like, oh.
Interesting.
Why can't you just accept yourself as you are? How many fucking people get How many people get fucking braces? Why are you getting braces? You should accept the way you are. Like, why have medical care? Okay, why intervene? Like, this is such a slippery slope argument, right? So I hate when people say that shit because they're literally just like talking out of their ass and really just showing that like when you point these holes in their logic, it just always reverts to, well, I just don't want trans people to be able to do this. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Like, don't even lie. Be honest about it.
They just want to draw a line in the sand somewhere. And it's like, Bestie, you think that this line is a straight line, and it's not. Like, there are so many, like, I don't get it nearly to the extent probably that you've experienced, but I'm infertile, and like people love to say, well, trans women are women because they can't give birth. I'm like, neither can I give birth. Do you think I'm not a woman? Because, and then they're like, well, no, it's different for you. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like a trans person could give birth if they had enough money to, you know, like there are ways you can do it. I don't have enough money to be able to give birth. That's like the whole fucking point, right? Like, it's just wild. Yeah. Or they say like, trans women are women because they don't have periods. It's like, I don't fucking period either, bestie. Or trans women are women because they don't have a uterus. I'm like, well, I almost don't have one of those, you know, like. It's just so frustrating.
Or there are women that get hysterectomies. Like,
exactly. Like,
they're also like, people need to understand that sex is not binary. Sex is bimodal. It's not binary. It's bimodal. Intersex people exist, and the way that gender critical people in particular will see intersex people as like people who have like disabilities related to their sex. No, like let those people identify as intersex. Like, why are you trying to define people? Why is anyone trying to define somebody
on their genitals?
Isn't themselves
so weird.
On their genitals, or even
weird.
Abstracted from genitals. Why? Who the fuck made you the authority on this? I don't understand. Like, I need these people to understand something. There's no. What's the end goal? Like, let's say that their end goal, right, is that trans people don't have access to any sort. Trans people don't exist. If you think that people are not going to see the success in removing an entire group of people's bodily autonomy and identity, if you think that's not going to, they're going to see that as successful and then apply it to another group, you're fucking delusional.
Yeah.
It's fucking delusional.
Or how does it even affect their life, whether like people do or don't? Like, where does it, like, why does it affect you at all if people are happy and like living their life? Like, so weird.
The other wild part,
misery loves company.
That part.
So true. The other wild part to me is that people are like, well, trans is a new thing. I'm like, no, it's not. It literally predates Christianity. Like you want to talk about things that are new in the relative scheme of like humankind? It's monogamy and Christianity and like all of these other things. Like all like queerness, like sex, like all of those things and casual sex predate Christianity. Like you think that the Greeks
gender diversity has existed well before our concept of
language.
Christianity, language, anything. Okay, there are so many like stories and texts that relate to trans people in history, right? And a lot of the reason that so much of the world is now like specifically like the nuclear family was because of a lot of propaganda centered
Capitalism.
around like
Capitalism.
well, it's capitalism. There's also like propaganda about like a lot of it was like the Eurocentric like Christian church that was doing this shit way back when, right? Like the church had a really big influence in people's lives, and you know this was an area of control that they exacerbated. Think about all the people that go on missions, right? Who they were not interested in improving the lives of the local people. They were interested in spreading an ideology, and it clearly was very effective.
Yep.
But it wasn't completely effective.
Yeah.
Right? There are a lot of cultures who were not colonized, who were not indoctrinated, who were not taken over, who still exhibit a lot of their like ancient cultural heritage. Like Thailand, for instance, is a great example of a place where like trans people have existed for forever.
Yeah.
And they've never been colonized.
Yeah.
We see a lot of that erasure
Ever.
here in the South because there's a big Native American like population here in the South, just like from like Cherokee is really big here. Like everyone loves to say that they have Cherokee heritage here, but you really see that erasure in history because like the two-spirited like ideology of like that you see in Native American culture has like been really erased in like that history. But a lot of like the LGBT groups here in the South are like trying to bring that history back of like this, that it was nothing new and was here way before we got here.
Yeah.
Which is happy to see.
Colonizers would mark those societies and those groups as barbaric, right?
Right.
And so they would actively contribute to erasing that heritage and erasing that culture because it posed a threat to them. But like you said, like two-spirited people existed long before European colonialism, and two-spirited people still exist today.
Yeah.
So
the people who believe that need to go eat a Polly Pocket.
Okay, this one's interesting, and we have not asked this one before on the pod.
Ooh.
It was, how would you change your life today if the average life expectancy was 400 years?
Oh, I would be a piece of shit. I would just be full. I would not give a fuck. I don't know what I would do.
I think I would be feral too. Yeah, no, I think feral would be
1,000% feral. Yeah.
You think like be feral for the first 100 years and then after that like rectify all the damage you've done? Is that kind of what you're thinking? Or you just like off the hinge, 400 years, let's go?
Well,
and keep in mind this is the average life expectancy, so everyone's gonna live for 400 years.
Shit,
that was deep, Queenie.
400 years. I would have eras. I would have different eras. I feel like that's how I would have an era of virility, an era
slut era, genius
virility.
era.
I love that word.
Absolutely. I would just have like different eras where I like maybe I would have caught something. You know what? Fuck that. I don't want to do shit. I want to be a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really interesting. I mean, if you think about where we were 400 years ago, you know, like we're like in the 1700s, you know, and think about how different time is. Or like my grandfather, sorry, trigger warning, death, but my grandpa recently passed away, and he was born in 1939. And you think about like cars were just like the old fashioned cars were just becoming popular, and he lived in small town Idaho, right? And then you think about like that, and now 80 years later, here we are with cars that drive themselves, and you think about like that's wild, and that's 80 years. That's not even a quarter lifetime in this 400-year life expectancy.
They drive themselves asterisk.
Fair.
Sometimes
they drive themselves, but they don't drive themselves well.
Yeah,
but like that's wild.
I think about that, and I wonder if we lived up to like 400. Like, I wonder how our perspective of time would change.
Literally. Yeah.
I'm gonna smoke so much weed tonight.
Please do.
I'm gonna think about this.
Yeah, I would think that like I feel like I would spend more time in school. Like I'd want to learn more. You know, like if I didn't have the time constraint of like being stuck, like finding a career before you're 30, you know, and then working in that career for 40 years or whatever. Like if I could spend more time learning and learning from other people, I think that'd be really fun.
That's a really sweet response, Queenie, because my first instinct was feral.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
the same.
I think I would spend more time being feral too, but feral safely.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'd want to wake
I don't
up
want
and
to
be shot
die
on the
young
beach
at
somewhere.
70, you know? That's crazy.
I don't want to die young at 125.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's like the new, like, what your midlife crisis at like 200?
That's when you get a new tattoo.
I'm just like,
you get like a face tat. 200.
oh my god! And like, if you think of like 200 years, we'd probably get like fucking holographic tattoos.
Oh, like that, like shift, like those cards that used to like show different pictures. Oh yeah.
Or like 3D ones.
It just hit me that like, if you got a tattoo, then it would be, I don't know, it's not any more permanent if you live longer. But the idea that a tattoo would last 200 years is,
it'd probably fade a little. You'd have to get touch-ups.
But like, it's still kind of wild. I don't know, in my mind, it was in my mind, I was like, I don't think I'd get a tattoo just because it would be so permanent. But it's literally not any more permanent than what it currently is. It would just, you'd be alive longer.
Yeah, think about like how many things that we think of that like last a lifetime. How that would change. The lifetime would change. So
all lifetime policies on any item or purchase would be null and void. They'd be like, we have to keep it. We have to keep these up for 400 years. No, thank you. Suddenly, being a Delta 2 million miler isn't that big of a feat. You get people who are 10 million milers.
You could definitely rack up the sky miles.
I fly United.
I'm a Delta slut. That's just because I'm near Atlanta.
I like Delta.
Well,
Delta and Alaska Airlines are big out here.
I don't mind United though. I do like United. I've never had an issue with them.
I live like right next to United hubs, so it makes sense for me to fly United.
Yeah, I'm a travel agent, flying Delta so I use a lot of Delta and a lot of United. I try to stay clear of Southwest and Spirit, obviously, but it depends on the client.
So true.
I mean, if you fly Southwest, are you even gonna get there?
I had someone fly to Puerto Vallarta this week on Southwest and had no issues, and that added 200 years to my life, just that.
Speaking of airplanes, this is another deep cut topic, but curiously, were you living in Virginia or out there during 9/11?
It was.
How was that?
I was living in Maryland. So I was like 9 when 9/11 happened. And I just remember like being in school and they started turning on the TVs and like class just like halted, right? And we lived like 30 minutes outside of DC at the time. So
that's crazy.
So, you know, my mom came and picked me up and took me home. And we just started like we just were watching TV the whole day. I didn't really know what was going on. I knew like something bad had happened, but I didn't know the full scope of it, right? So yeah, I didn't really think much of it, but it was definitely like still like scary to like, you know, be in school and all of a sudden like a terrorist attack is happening.
Yeah.
And like right outside of DC at the Pentagon. It's actually funny. I used to live in an apartment. Well, it's not funny, but I lived in an apartment right next to, like very close to the Pentagon, right? And I remember on 9/11, I saw a helicopter outside my window, like right next to my window. And I was like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck's happening? Not realizing that like I didn't like check the date initially, so I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why is there a helicopter? And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like a lot of like the 9/11 memorials. Yeah, and I worked with people that were 9/11 survivors or who had family members that were affected by 9/11. So it's definitely like at the time, I didn't really understand the gravity, but as I've gotten older, I've been like, oh wow, like that was actually like.
Were there things that
terrifying.
happened like that you remember? I'm admitting another vulnerable thing here. I'm not the most familiar with the Northeast, so in my mind, I'm like Washington D.C. is a stone throws away from New York City. So I'm like,
maybe
like
closer than you are to New York,
drive.
but
oh, okay. Marv is like,
It's like a.
stop
It's
now,
like an
Katie,
hour.
say less.
no, I mean it's closer than what you are. So like for you, it would seem
Yeah.
close, but it was still a good drive. I lived in Chattanooga during 9/11, and so
Okay.
we were. I'm little too, like first grade, kindergarten, but like the memory I have is everyone was like, we're next because we live right next to one of the military bases in Chattanooga. So like what a lot of people were doing was going into. Have you ever heard of Ruby Falls? I don't remember how close you lived to Chattanooga when you were in Atlanta, but it's like a hole in the mountain. So a lot of people were gonna like go there and bunker, and that's like the only memory I have besides like being pulled out of school.
I was in Florida, but President Bush was in my school district reading the stories to children.
Yeah.
And so everyone in Florida was freaking out. And like he was in our school district, right? He was at our school, but like he was nearby. And like it was wild. Like I think they ended up calling out school early, like canceling school midway through the day. But I remember I was one of like the last kids being picked up. I want to say it was like 11:30 or noon or something. And pretty much everyone in my class was already gone because their parents were worried. But then another wild thing was President Bush got on Air Force One and then went to Nebraska at the Air Force Base there, which is where my spouse went to school, and his sister was in high school at the time. So like she remembers it really well. Like she remembers seeing Air Force One come in, like land, and like them canceling school. But it's wild. My spouse and I think it's wild that like the president left my school district to fly to his. But yeah.
It is really jarring being friends with some of the queens here, like locally, because they'll say their age, and I'll be like, oh my god, you were born after 9/11. And that really hurts.
It's wild.
But
People
I think
who were born after 9/11 can drink alcohol.
yeah, oh yeah, I'm like drinking and hanging out with these queens, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I wasn't born during 9/11." I'm just like,
don't say that.
Weird.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that.
It hurts.
The most offensive thing I've said on the podcast so far is that
I'm canceling you right now.
Oh, I will like fully like be drunk vomiting, having my hair pulled back by someone who wasn't born during 9/11. Like it's a stab. It hurts.
It's wild.
But I feel like this generation will feel like that with the pandemic. Like my sister's 12, and so like I feel like when she's older, she's gonna be like, yeah, I remember like I remember when schools closed down. Like I was alive during then, and like she's gonna have that conversation in like 15 years.
I love my sister-in-law, but it cracks me up so much. So most of my family is Mormon, including my in-laws.
I didn't know Fudge's family was too.
Yeah, we were Mormon when we got married. Like we got married and we did the whole temple thing, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's so
funny.
I love learning. I love learning about you.
But so my sister-in-law now has 2 kids and she's pregnant, but her second one was born in 2020. Or like maybe she was born in 2021, but either way, she was pregnant in 2020. And we kind of like, in jest said like, oh, a COVID baby. She's like, my baby is not a COVID baby. And I was like, Bessie, your baby, you got pregnant in February of 2020. Like your baby, or not February, I think it was April. Like it's a COVID baby. Like even if it was planned, it still happened, But I just imagine like baby boomers being like, my baby boom is not a baby boomer baby. It is a planned baby. I'm like, yeah, it was still born during the generation, It's just funny.
On the topic of 9/11, I actually had the opportunity to go to the 9/11 Memorial in New York City. I highly recommend people go and visit that. It was a really powerful thing to see get to, see people who were affected by it directly go into the memorial and the emotional experiences that they had. Like, if you have an opportunity to take the tour and go to the museum, highly recommend.
I think I've been to that too. I spent like 5 hours in DC one time. And I think there's a part where they have all of the names written out, right?
Yeah.
And seeing 3,000 names is wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. The other thing that like brought up a lot of those like 9/11 memories was it's a Broadway play, Come From Away. Have you ever seen it or heard of it? So it's called Come From Away.
I'm not a theater gay.
I bet Arturo knows.
Oh, he's a theater guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a play that takes place in Newfoundland, where they diverted a lot of the flights because basically no flights could land in the States. And so in Newfoundland is in Canada or in the north.
It's in Canada.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You could tell me it's in Europe, and I would nod. I have no idea.
It's near Maine.
Vaguely.
It's like near Maine.
Yeah, it's like Canada, but like not like mainland Canada. It's like Canada to the right.
Island.
Yeah.
Oh, but, the Southern public school education has failed me. You could tell me that's in Europe, and I would believe you.
They originated the dogs. The new feast. I'm just kidding. That's a lie. I don't actually know that at all. But anyway, so the play takes place there, and it's like they have all of these Wally's just laughing at me like.
Go on.
Anyway, so they have all of these flights that land, and all of these people like come in to this like tiny town, in Newfoundland, and it's like this tiny Canadian town. But it's like each actor in the cast plays a person that lives in the town, and then also a person on the flight. And like there's like one person who was on the flight who is Muslim, and like they have like this whole song where they talk about how like everyone was so friendly to them in the beginning, but then once news started coming out about the flights and stuff, like the Islamophobia just skyrocketed. And like it's heartbreaking because it's like in the beginning everyone seems to understand that this person it's not like he contributed to this at all, and then by the end they're like ostracizing him because some other people did something terrible, and it's like, oh, it's heart-wrenching. Or like some of the characters' flights were supposed to land in New York, and so like this one mom is talking about how her son is a firefighter and she's so proud of him and he's the best, and then like suddenly like this news comes out and like she's not heard from him, she doesn't know like where he went or whatever, and it's just heart-wrenching. And I didn't know going into it that was what the play was about. I thought it was like, some people go to an island and it's fun and nice. And then I'm like sobbing in the chair because it's so sad and heart-wrenching, and like it's perspectives that as a kid that you like when you're a kid you don't understand the whole context of it, but now as an adult you can see it and you have the empathy for the people. It's awful.
What's it called? What's this play called?
Come From Away.
Honestly, our podcast about queer women on Twitch would make sense that we get on a 20-minute 9/11 rant that ends in musical theater. Honestly, on brand.
Honestly, this is our 5th question, and like I think that's the most questions we've ever asked in a podcast. So.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. We're staying on topic-ish.
Great.
Oh my gosh.
And the question is, how long would you last in a zombie apocalypse?
This question.
Okay, it really depends on who I'm paired with. Because if I'm expected to like survive on my own, I'm dying immediately. If I'm paired with like somebody who has like the brain but not necessarily like the physical strength, I got like a week. I got something to do with the physical strength. I'm lasting. I'm setting up a whole damn society.
Yeah.
What would be your zombie weapon of choice? Are you like a Katniss Everdeen? Or are we like straight shotgun? Like, What are you reaching
Or are
for?
you Joel, just hitting people with a 2x4?
No, I'm not hitting people with 2x4. Okay, wait. It depends. Like, do flamethrowers work?
Yeah.
You just have to get one.
Pyro? Yeah.
I'm flamethrowing.
Pyro? Yeah.
Definitely
Oh,
pyro.
and you even have your little taser thing?
Your candle? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a bigger version of
Watch
that.
out, zombies. Watch out,
Polly is
zombies. We're gonna
set.
get you.
Oh my gosh, the way it was smoking, though.
I said Queenie would last long, like foraging, and like I could just see her like living in the woods and being like Snow White with the woodland creatures and surviving. My like country upbringing, like I could really tear some shit up, I feel like my dad was doomsday prepper all the way. Like we are country. Like I feel like we would. I've been on a farm.
I lived in West Virginia for 10 years, so I
Oh,
have like a
yeah.
lot of experience with like we would like go out and like shoot guns for fun.
Yeah.
I feel like
So I mean, I could use a gun. I'd probably get like a pistol.
I'd probably jack up a pickup truck here, like, you know, like really deck it out, like spikes coming out and shit. Oh, yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like I want to know what you all would contribute to a zombie apocalypse society. I feel like for me, I have some nursing knowledge in
Yeah.
like general first aid. I feel like I could
Mhm.
like that's what I provide. Like I'm not going to be the one that's going out to like, you know, what do they call those? The people who go out first, scouts. I'm not a scouter or a hunter really, but I could take care of shit at like back at home base, you know? I feel like that's what I provide. But I'm
I don't
curious
know
to
if
what
I
you
could
guys
do a community. I feel like I would be too feral in like the anarchy of it all. That I don't think I could
Mhm.
be
In our
tied
queer
down with
Twitch-
society.
In our queer women Twitch society, zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
I feel like that's what I need though. I feel like Barf would be the scout.
Oh, you think I'm
You
going
need
out
to be
first?
feral.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'll do it.
Yeah.
So professionally I work in IT. So I feel like I'd be really good with like anything technology based, like setting up solar power, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
You know, something that I could do. And like setting up like fixing a car, or it's so funny. I literally fall into like the stereotype of trans women working in IT.
I love that.
Like that's me.
I love that so much.
I think I could do livestock, but I think I would be very sad. Because I would grow very attached to like the chickens, but like if it came down to it, I've seen my grandmother like wring their necks. You know, grew up on a chicken farm, so I feel like I could do it, but I would be sad.
I want to give you a hug. That sounds.
Yeah, when a
not
lot of them are
great.
born, like 1 in like 50, I feel like it's a stupid amount, are born with 2 heads, and like, yeah.
Excuse me?
So like it wasn't like chicken farm where they were free range. It was like big metal like football field container filled of like 3,000 chickens, and like we would just have to go in. Not me, my grandmother would just go in and like wring the necks of the 2 heads. There were a lot of 2 heads. I am so sorry for oversharing that part of my life. I could
vegetables.
Yeah, I could be pretty like feral when it comes to like the Appalachian in me, because I'm not just like Southern. I'm like country Queenie.
I said I wanted to give you a hug, and I'm immediately rescinding that invitation. I do not longer want to give you a hug.
You are a lot more Appalachian than me.
Girl, I've lived in Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. Like it's feral season over here, but I feel like I could live in a zombie apocalypse. Honestly, I think I might thrive. Is that weird?
It's a little strange.
That I think I would do better in that kind of society than I am right now.
Normal thing.
I'm telling you right now, if I show symptoms or signs, that's fine with me. Put a bullet in my head. Like I'm not gonna fight you on it. I'm not gonna try to like hide it, or just take me out. Or if like it's a scary movie scenario and like I'm caught by the ankle, run. Don't come back for me. Like that's fine. It's my time to go.
If you fall, you're dead.
Yeah,
you lived a good life. I'll keep your memory alive because I'm not saving your ass.
Don't stay behind for me.
Marv, here's the thing though. I wouldn't put you out of your misery. I would put you in a cage, and then you would be my pet feral zombie.
Can you put me in drag?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't touch you. So I would just go on top of the cage, and I would drop like a wig down and hope it lands on your head properly. Yeah. You know, drop some, just like a, not like eyelash glue, but like Mod Podge, and then I'll dump that down. And then I'll throw
I am
lashes.
stocked up on weave glue because that's what I use for my eyelashes. So I got you covered.
Weed glue.
Weave.
Oh.
Hair glue.
I was like, why are you gluing your weed?
Have you ever seen The Walking Dead?
Not
There's a
much of
character
it.
on that. I can't remember what her name is. I think it's like Michonne. It starts with an M. But she does that. She like carries zombies as pets, but she just like cuts off the bottom half of their jaw so they can't bite her. And then she just puts them on like leashes and they just like hang out with her. So like that's actually like not a bad idea. Yeah, keep me around.
Yeah. You'd be my feral pet.
We could still do the
Kind of
pod.
what you are now.
Yeah. We can see how it's supposed to, we can still do the pod. We'd be fine.
It'd be me asking you a question and you're just like,
no one would know the difference.
Good zombie noise, Jesus Christ. Marv, do you have any last minute questions? Any feral things you'd like to just say?
If it does take time for the fungus to grow, do give me time to put on face, so that I can look glamorous as a zombie. But...
I think you have 24 hours.
Oh, that's plenty of time. I need like 3 hours tops, so.
Yeah, you're good. You'll be fine.
But do I want to be a zombie in a corset? I don't know. So like, it's gonna be half.
I mean, are you gonna care?
Yeah, I feel like most of your skin and flesh would fall away anyway, so maybe you don't even need a corset.
It's gonna be half drag, but just expect that level. But yeah, other than that, I'm good. Marv's good.
Polly, do you have any last things that you would like to make known? Any last admissions, like you used to eat chapstick, or maybe you eat...
To make Queenie feel better.
Yeah, anything to
please,
make me feel
please say that
just
you've eaten
slightly
chapstick
better.
before.
I don't condone this. I don't support this messaging. I want everyone to know that I've never done anything like this, and
I might make this the title of the. This might be the title of the YouTube episode. It's the chapstick.
I do not condone this messaging.
I want people to know that I am not affiliated or.
I do not know these two. I have never met these people.
This episode's gonna come out and Team Overture is gonna release a formal statement.
Oh my god. We've recently reviewed the video that has been sent to us.
We would like to formally separate ourselves.
We would like to express that we do not condone or support the messaging that was exhibited in this podcast, and we will be removing PolygonPrincess from our team and severing all ties. We wish the best for Polly in her future endeavors.
You have about a week to work on your twit longer until I release the episode.
Oh, I have scripts. Put longer scripts ready.
Perfect.
I love that.
I want the notes app apology.
I release a video and it's just like me holding my camera. I'm here to tell the truth and I'm here to be candid. I take full responsibility.
I can't believe it's come to this. I never thought I'd be making one of these videos.
I never thought I'd be making one of these videos.
It's my favorite when they say that one.
This has been Twitchy. You know, we got through 5 questions, which honestly I'm impressed by.
New record.
Yay for us.
Polly got to be our record breaker. Thank you so much.
My God.
Yeah. Thank you for being on the pod. Thank you for being vulnerable in the club with us. I like that
I'm always vulnerable in the club.
We ask all these hard-hitting questions, and I think by far the most controversial and the most deep things that were shared was the fact that I eat chapstick sometimes, and Marv used to eat Polly Pockets, you know?
That's going to be the takeaway.
Yeah, that's the big takeaway from this. Normalize transness and take all of the transphobic energy and put it into persecuting people who eat chapstick and Polly Pockets as children.
That's my campaign slogan.
I just have concerns. It's one of the gender critical talking. They always say that. I just have concerns.
Well, Polly, if it's okay with you, I will be linking all of your socials as well for people to follow.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes,
you
please
can
follow
find me,
Polly.
Because everyone should.
So you can find me everywhere at PolygonPrincess, except for Twitter. It's Princess Polygon.
Slay. And the links will be down below. But thank you so much for joining us today. I hope this was a pleasant experience.
I will be seeking therapy.
Just send it. I have a. You can send the EOBs to our business.
Yeah. I'll send you the invoices.
Were we your
That'd be
first
great.
podcast?
Have you ever
I
been
think
on first?
so.
Wow.
You always remember your
We're puppet
first.
cherry.
As a guest, yes.
Yeah.
As a guest, yes.
Yay.
Oh my god.
That's so exciting. All right. Well, this has been Twitchy, where it's our podcast. We talk about stuff and
Whatever we want.
we have we whatever we want because it's our podcast and
Not yours. I can't tongue pop. I'm the worst drag queen.
Oh, I
Sorry.
love tongue popping.
I can't
Wait,
do it.
hold on.
Oh, that was.
I'll let it.
Did the sound
Hold on.
didn't come through all the way?
Hold on.
I'll let it one in.
It's-
I'll let it in.
Yeah, but
We'll fix it in post. We'll fix it in post.
Fix it in post. Fix it in post.
yeah, we'll fix it in post.